Tất nhiên. Dưới đây là bản tiếng Anh hoàn chỉnh của bài báo mà bạn yêu cầu, được viết như một dòng văn liên tục mà không phần mục. Training your brain with these methods doesn't just improve your memory, it physically rewires your brain. This expansion makes you sharper, faster, and more capable. The truth is, most of us are memorizing in the wrong way. We're stuck in a flat, two-dimensional world, staring at textbooks, rereading the same words, expecting them to stick. But our brains aren't designed for this. Our brains are designed for survival, for remembering rich, vivid landscapes, faces, and paths. This is why pure memorization from text is so tiring and frustrating. This technique, used by the greatest minds in history, lets you unlock the true power of your memory. It's a game changer for anyone who wants to learn faster, retain more, and recall information with ease. Picture a place you know well, for example, your own home. You know every room, every corner. You can visualize them instantly. Our brains are wired to remember physical spaces with ease. This forms a powerful framework for retaining information. What if we use this ability to memorize information instead? Let's start with something small, like the first 6 digits of pi. Numbers aren't normally physical, but this hack lets you make them physical by placing them in your memory palace. Here's how. We turn numbers into words and then into stories. Our brains remember stories much better than pure numbers. Each number is associated with a sound. For example, 4 equals R, 1 equals T, 5 equals L, 9 equals P. This converts a string of numbers into a set of sounds. The sounds can be formed into words, names, or stories, turning randomness into something mnemonic. Let's see this in action with the first 6 digits of pi, 3.1419. Digits 314159 converts to M3, T1, R4, T1, L5, P9. Combine these to form words mat, M plus T, rat, Rs T, lap, L plus P. Picture a muscular mathematician, Matt, holding a mutated rat on his lap, a bizarre, vivid scene that sticks in your memory. This lets you remember the first 6 digits of pi effortlessly. This method lets you memorize much more than just numbers: history, biology, languages, and more. Your imagination is your limit. You can reuse this tactic across subjects. If you say, "But my home isn't that big," that's fine. You can use games, movies, books, or even imaginary palaces. This is why it's called the memory palace. The memory palace is not a trick. It's a powerful, life-changing skill. It lets you rewire your brain and realize your full potential. Now you hold a tool to make the impossible possible. Nếu bạn muốn, tôi cũng có thể dịch sang tiếng Việt hoặc thêm những ví dụ hoặc mẹo. Hãy cho tôi biết nếu bạn muốn thêm.
Our brains can do much more than we think. Our memory isn't flawed, it's the way we memorize that's flawed. We're used to flat, two-dimensional memorization, staring at textbooks, rereading words, and expecting them to stick, but our brains are designed for stories, for visualization, for movement. This is why we can remember much more when we connect information to stories and places we know. This method is called the memory palace. The memory palace lets us transform ordinary information into something much more vivid and easy to recall. We can reuse the places we know, a room, a staircase, a mirror, a window, to aid our memory. So today I'm going to show you this method step by step, and I think you'll be surprised by how much you can remember in just a few minutes. Let's start with a list of words: bacon, ball, banana, fish, monkey, Mr. E, rat, and dog. I know, it's a strange combination. But that's a big opportunity for us to make them more memorable by turning them into stories. So picture yourself at your own door. Just before you reach for the handle, a piece of bacon runs away, crying for help. This is a ridiculous picture, and that's a good thing. You're much more likely to remember it. You step forward, and as you open the door, you see a ball bouncing down the stairs, growing bigger and then exploding. You're covered in whatever it drops. Turning to your left, you see a mirror, and there's a singing banana smiling back at you, crooning a song. All this is ridiculous, wild, and funny, which helps you remember. Then you sit down and see a big fish with a remote control, casually watching TV. The fish is so engaged in its show that it doesn't even notice you. Suddenly a monkey appears with a huge gun, threatening the fish, adding an element of danger to make it even more dramatic and hard to forget. Mr. E, meanwhile, is peeing on a nearby lamp, much to your disbelief, a moment you certainly won't forget. Later, you look out of the window and see a big rat casually brushing its teeth, adding a comic twist to the scene. Finally, you move toward the refrigerator, and there's a dog washing itself and offering you a beer, a ridiculous but perfect closing image for your memory tour. This method works because we're not just repeating words or looking at flat notes, we're creating stories, placing them in spaces we know, adding humor, movement, and color. Our brains are wired for stories, for following a narrative, and for navigating physical spaces. So by turning ordinary words into dramatic stories anchored in a place you know well, you can remember them much more easily. This method can be used for much more than just a short list of words. It can help you memorize large amounts of information, retain it for a long time, and recall it effortlessly. All you need to do is practice and let your imagination soar. Your memory is much more powerful than you think, and with the Memory Palace, you can unlock its full potential. When you come home, you know what your door looks like, and that's a powerful way to remember new vocabulary and information. So we take that new vocabulary and we put it on the door, but we do not just put the word there, we add action and something unusual or funny. This makes it much more memorable. Alright? Because when something is funny, dramatic, or ridiculous, your brain sticks to it. And you probably smiled or even laughed when you saw the fish watching fishing TV, or the ball bouncing down the stairs, or the monkey with a big gun, or mystery peeing by the lamp. All these ridiculous or energetic stories aid your memory because your brain prefers movement, humor, and strong emotions. So if you want to remember words or information, make it full of feeling. Combine humor, movement, and permanent locations. The permanent locations are the furniture, the doors, the refrigerator, things you know very well, and you can reuse them over and over in your imagination. That's how you can remember many words or even a large number of them. Instead of staring at a flat piece of paper, you create stories that come alive in your mind. The more you practice, the sharper your memory will become. If you do this frequently, you can recall much more, even after a week or a month, without extensive study or repeated reviews. I challenge you, watch a video or create your own stories, then come back after a week and see how much you remember. You'll be surprised by your ability. This happens because we remember through context and imagination. So today I want you to select 7 words or 7 irregular verbs and apply this method. Picture them in your home, adding action, humor, or strong emotions, until each one sticks in your mind. Then learn another set. This way, you can learn a large number of words without much stress or pressure. And when you do your homework, remember, you're not just preparing for a test, you're strengthening your memory. So have fun, be creative, and let your imagination aid your learning. Visit Ingvid, connect with other students, and aid each other in retaining knowledge. Because when we learn together, we remember even more. So now, go forward, use these techniques, and watch your memory grow. You dirty dog in the refrigerator with a beer, you're not going to forget that, are you?